In Britain, there was a car that was impossible to get out of in the middle of the 1960s. It lined parking lots, filled suburban driveways, and transported young families on their first beach vacations. It outsold anything else on the road for a number of years. Nevertheless, the Morris 1100 is hardly ever seen, honored, or referenced in conjunction with the icons of its day. How does the best-selling vehicle in Britain just vanish from history? We must go back to post-war Britain in order to comprehend that absence. During the 1950s and early 1960s, the nation's economy was still being rebuilt. Consumer confidence was increasing, wages were rising, and record numbers of regular families were purchasing cars. Front-wheel drive and innovative packaging could revolutionize tiny car design, as demonstrated by the Mini's success. However, a lot of families required more room, comfort, and a little more dignity than the little city automobile could provide. Morris responded at that time in 1962 with the 1100, the Morris 1100, which was designed by Alec Isagonis, the same man who created the Mini, enlarged the innovative design of its smaller sibling into a useful family saloon. Its front wheels were powered by a transverse engine, which allowed for more inside space than most competitors could match. It seemed spacious and roomy despite its small size. There was enough room for 4 persons to sit. The boot could be used. It was very visible. Beneath the bodywork, however, was the true engineering headline. Hydrolastic suspension was first made available to the general public with the Morris 1100. The front and rear suspension on each side of the vehicle were joined by fluid-filled modules rather than just traditional springs. As a result, the ride seemed extremely calm for such a small vehicle. It startled drivers used to the jitteriness of many small saloon cars by smoothing out bumps on Britain's frequently uneven roadways. It seemed elegant, almost sophisticated. To many families, a T was not merely cunning. It was a success. The Morris 1100 was the best-selling vehicle in Britain by the middle of the 1960s. In fact, it dominated the national sales rankings for a number of years in a row. Its scope was further expanded by being offered under various badges under the British Motor Corporation. The combination of contemporary engineering, effective packaging, affordable prices, and decent style looked ideal. For a while, it symbolized the self-assured, progressive Britain of the 1960s. What caused it to vanish? Then, the system itself holds part of the solution. The British Motor Corporation joined the newly established British Leyland Motor Corporation in 1968. A period of corporate unrest, overlapping models, labor disputes, and uneven quality control ensued. Despite its continued popularity, the 1100 started to suffer from the larger issues facing its parent corporation. Rust developed as a major problem. Many 1100s degraded significantly more quickly than owners anticipated due to British roads, humid conditions, and inadequate corrosion protection. Once trusted family automobiles became expensive repairs due to structural degradation, particularly in the sills and subframes. A car that appeared sturdy and contemporary in 1965 can appear worn out and brittle 10 years later. Then there was rivalry. Competitors from Europe and Japan were making significant progress by the early 1970s. Simple mechanics, familiarity with rear-wheel drive, and robust dealer networks were features of vehicles such as the Ford Escort. Japanese producers were starting to establish reputations for dependability and toughness. The sophisticated suspension of the Morris 1100 may seem complicated in comparison to these recent models. The supply of parts and maintenance expenses was not always clear-cut. Performance was another issue. The 1100 was never a speedy automobile, but it was more than suitable for daily use. Some purchasers sought more power and finesse than the original design could easily provide as motorway travel expanded and expectations shifted. Although there were updates, the car's deteriorating underpinnings remained visible. However, concentrating solely on its decrease would overlook its more profound effects. After years of motorbikes and buses, the Morris 1100 was the first car, or the first proper family vehicle, for hundreds of thousands of British families. It transported grandparents to Sunday dinners, kids to school, and bags to Cornwall. It was functional without being ostentatious. Honourable without being ostentatious. It was appropriate for the era's social structure. It subtly influenced British automotive culture in numerous ways. It made front-wheel drive more commonplace for consumers. It proved that little cars could be stable and pleasant. It contributed to defining what a small family saloon ought to be. These expectations persisted even after drivers switched to different brands. There were times when it proved to be more resilient than it appeared. Owners remember driving across Europe for extended periods of time with only rudimentary tools in the boot. Fleet vehicles were used in harsh environments for years. Its space efficiency was recognized by taxi drivers. When properly maintained, its tiny engine proved capable of producing reliable, continuous work. However, history can be cruel to the average person. The Morris 1100 was rarely treasured as anything unique due to its widespread use. Most were scrapped rather than refurbished as corrosion took hold. Few anticipated that they would eventually become rare as newer versions supplanted them. In contrast to luxury sedans or sports vehicles, the 1100 was utilized until it broke down. It vanished gradually, almost imperceptibly. The brand's reputation was further damaged by the oil crisis of the 1970s and the continuous labor disputes at British Leyland. Attention had changed by the time the 1100 and its direct successors were no longer in production. The automobile, which used to rule Britain's roads, was a thing of the past. Compared to the enormous number that were initially constructed, there are now very few surviving instances. Rather than loud cheers, a Morris 1100 frequently elicits subtle smiles of recognition at vintage automobile shows. It is not considered an exotic machine by the public. They perceive it as a recollection. A memory of a long-gone driveway, a Sunday morning father checking the oil, and soft vinyl seats in the summer heat. There was more than one significant setback that led to its demise. Rust, business instability, shifting consumer preferences, and unrelenting rivalry were all contributing factors. Because it was commonplace and fulfilled its purpose to such an extent that few people considered preserving it, it disappeared. Nevertheless, the Morris 1100 shaped British automobiles for a short but noteworthy time. It demonstrated that the general public may benefit from intelligent design. It led a country through 10 years of hope. It demonstrated that innovation might have an impact without being noisy. Maybe that's why its tale is still relevant. Consider subscribing if you like looking back at vehicles that used to influence daily life and learning about their rise and silent decline. Such tales abound and are just ready to be recounted.